Hi everyone, Melanie with Not Too Shabby Crochet. This video will go step by step through the whole pattern for my popular no-sew Bronto the Dinosaur pattern. Previously you had to purchase the PDF pattern and my videos would just provide tips for the trickier portions, but now the whole pattern is here for you to follow along. For those who still like having a PDF version with the full details and photos, it's still available for purchase through my Etsy, which is linked below. First, starting with the materials. In this video, I'm using Bernat Maker yarn and a size G hook. The stitches are really easy to see and show on video, so it's very beginner-friendly yarn, but I frequently make this using Paintbox RN yarn or Hobby Baby Snuggle yarn as well. It's a pretty flexible pattern, so you can pretty much scale to any yarn weight and hook size you like. The main thing is to make sure the stitches are tight enough so the stuffing doesn't show through. And here's a cheat sheet of some of the terminology and abbreviations used. If you are new to crochet, this is a more intermediate pattern. You may want to check out my other video linked on screen to learn the basics, then come back here once you're a little more comfortable. Alright, let's get started with the head and neck. Feel free to speed up, slow down, pause, or rewind as needed. This part starts with the magic ring. There's a few different ways I like to do these, but for this video I will show the slip knot magic ring. Starting with your working end to the right, loop your yarn around and pinch it at the top. Then insert your hook and drop the yarn just like you would create a slip knot. Instead, pull the working end up, yarn over, and chain 1. Then work around the ring to create your 6 single crochets. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Should look something like this. Then pinch your single crochets and pull that short end to close the ring. And that's round 1 of your magic ring. Then working in continuous rounds, proceed to round 2 by working in the top loops of that first single crochet. Rounds 2 through 4 are shown on screen. Feel free to pause here and replay once you're done with round 4. For round 5, we're going to place some stitch markers just to help make sure our eyes are centered on the head. So after we complete our 8 single crochets, we'll grab our stitch marker and pop it into place. Then we'll do 8 more single crochets. Pop on another stitch marker. And then we'll finish out the round. At this point, it should look something like this. As a reminder, make sure you're working on the right side facing out as you continue with the pattern. The side with these horizontal bars should be on the inside. Then proceed with round 6 and round 7 shown on screen. Next, you're going to replace your stitch markers with safety eyes between round 5 and round 6. So take out your stitch marker, keep track of where it was, and replace that with an eye. Then pop the washer onto the back, and repeat with the other eye. Continuing on with round 8, we'll do 6 single crochets, and then for the decreases, I like to do an invisible decrease, which I will show in a bit. You'll insert your hook into just the front loop only of the next stitch and the one after, then draw up a loop and pull through both and finish out the rest of that stitch. Again, inserting through the next 2 front loops and finishing out the stitch. Continue the round with the remaining decreases and single crochets. Then continue with rounds 9 through 19 shown on screen, making sure to stuff the piece as you go. After round 19, we will insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull through the stitch and the loop together to create a slip stitch. Then we'll cut the yarn and pull the loop through to fasten off. And your head and neck should look something like this. Next, moving on to the hump. Starting with your working end to the right, loop your yarn around and pinch it at the top. Then insert your hook and drop the yarn just like you would create a slip knot. Instead, pull the working end up, yarn over, and chain 1. Then work around the ring to create your 6 single crochets. Then pinch your single crochets and pull that short end to close the ring. And that's round 1 of your magic ring. Then working in continuous rounds, proceed to round 2 by working in the top loops of that first single crochet. Continue with rounds 2 through 5. Once you finish round 5, leave your hook in that last stitch as we continue on to the next piece. Next is the body, where we join the neck and the hump together as one piece. With the last loop of the hump still on your hook, find the back of the neck and insert your hook in that stitch and the next stitch of the hump together. Then yarn over, draw up a loop, and slip stitch through both pieces to join. Then start working clockwise around the hump following the pattern shown on screen. Once you get back around to the neck, skip the slip stitch you used to join the pieces and start working around the neck as if it's all one piece. This is the new end of the round. Again, skipping that slip stitch used to join the pieces, continue with round 2 and round 3, which we'll show on screen next. At this point, it should look something like this, where the head and neck are fully joined together as one piece. For round 4, we start with our 13 single crochets. After After our 13, we will chain 6, and skip 6 single crochets. Then in the next stitch, we'll continue with the remaining 25 single crochets. And now we have this little hole in the back for the tail. For round 5, we're going to single crochet in each. Once we get to the hole for the tail, we will single crochet through the back loops only of that tail chain. Then finish out round 5 and round 6. After round 6, work about 17 single crochets so that the yarn end lines up with the back of the body. Depending on gauge and tension, you may need more or less, so play around with what works best. Wherever you end is the new start of the round. For round 7, similar to the tail, we are going to chain 5, then skip 7 for the leg hole. Then in the next stitch, continue with the pattern, working our way around in a similar fashion. It should look something like this. For round 8, again similar to the tail, work through the back loops only of the chain. For these, it's better to do a single crochet 2 together rather than an invisible decrease. So we will insert our hook, yarn over, insert in next, yarn over, so there's 3 loops on our hook, then yarn over and pull through all 3. Then continue working through the round in a similar fashion. Continue with rounds 9 through 12 shown on screen. After round 12, we want to stuff the body and close off the piece. To close off, we'll slip stitch in the next stitch. Cut the yarn, leaving a bit of a tail, and pull the loop through to fasten off. Then we'll put on our tapestry needle and work our way from the center outward through each of the stitches. Then pull the yarn end to close the hole. Next, you can just insert your needle through the center of the hole and poke it out somewhere on the other side of the body. And trim the yarn close to the piece. And there you have it. Onto the tail. Start with a slip knot by looping your yarn around, pinching at the top, drawing up a loop, and pulling the knot closed. Then looking at the hole you created for the tail, you'll see that you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and the corner. Starting in the third stitch, insert your hook, pop on your slip knot, and tighten the loop. Then we'll just tuck this yarn tail to get it out of the way. Then pull your slip stitch through and chain 1 to join. Then starting round 1 in the same stitch, we'll single crochet 3. Then single crochet 2 together using the last chain and the corner stitch. Continue working around with 5 single crochets. Then single crochet 2 together using the last single crochet and the corner stitch. And finish off the round with your last 2 single crochets. Then continue to round 2 starting in the first single crochet. Round 2s through 9 are shown on screen. Pause here and restart when you're done with the tail. Next are the legs. Similar to the tail, start with a slip knot by looping your yarn around, pinching at the top, drawing up a loop, and pulling the knot closed. Then looking at the hole you created for the legs, you'll see that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches, the corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the corner. Starting in the third stitch, insert your hook, pop on your slip knot, and tighten the loop. Then we'll tuck this yarn tail out of the way. Then pull your slip stitch through and chain 1 to join. Then starting round 1 in the same stitch, we'll single crochet 2. Then single crochet 2 together using the last chain and the corner stitch. Continue working around with 6 single crochets. Then single crochet 2 together using the last single crochet and the corner stitch. Finish off the round with your last 2 single crochets, then continue to round 2 starting in that first single crochet. The rest of the pattern for the legs are shown on screen. Go ahead and just repeat the same process for each leg. Once you're done, your little Bronto should look something like this. Again, if you like having a PDF version with the full details and photos to follow along, it's still available for purchase through my Etsy, which is linked below in the description. Feel free to customize using all the fun colors and yarns, and please tag me on Instagram at NotTooShabbyCrochet. I love seeing all your finished Brontos. Happy crocheting!